On Global TV News Express, former President Jonathan warns against one-party system. In business, Power Minister opposes construction of 4,800 nuclear power plants. On foreign scene, Ukraine rejects ceasefire, accuses Russia of deception. And in sports, Edo Queens bid unification needs to reach semi-finals in Federation Cup. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nigecomsat. You can also download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The Armed Forces of Nigeria says it has neutralized scores of terrorists, including one of their leaders known as Nkwachi Eze, otherwise known as Onowu, who has been on the wanted list of the military. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kange, made this known while addressing journalists on the operational activities of the armed forces in Abuja. Kikelamo Okere completes the report. We will bring you that report subsequently. Senator representing Kano South, Ismaila Kawu, has defected from the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. The letter of his defection was read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. Ramsey Enoch Agbo has details.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, congratulated Kawu for taking the decision to join the ruling party, describing the move as a bold and brilliant step. Akpabio also encouraged his colleagues from other political parties to join the APC to move the country forward in the interest of Nigerians.
My decision to bid goodbye to the NNPP is anchored on compelling and undeniable developments within the party, which have rendered the party severely divided and dysfunctional. Over the past months, I have observed a growing number of litigations that have practically torn the party apart. Therefore, in the spirit of democratic accountability and in line with my constitutional right, I have moved to the All Progressives Congress.
Raising a point of order, Senator Kawu says the reason for his defection includes numerous court cases plaguing the party, thereby creating division among members.
Three cogent region, which I want, and I am sending it to true lovers of democracy, more particularly my constituents. It is a constitutional representation. I am representing people, and they are looking up to me to bring something better and to do something better. Three areas. So all politics is local. As we start this work here in June 2003, I have almost 5 motions, which to do with the interest of Kano people, Nigeria, and of course my constituents.
Kawu called on the Senate President to ensure the notification is entered into the Senate's record for necessary legislative action. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Imo State Police Command has demoted a Sergeant, Anayo Ekezie, for assaulting a road traveler using a smoke gunner along the Owerri-Aba Expressway. The command also announced the reprimand of 2 police inspectors, Ofem Obonga and Obina Okereke, for failing to exercise supervisory control during the incident, which occurred along the Owerri-Aba Highway. Police spokesperson for Imo State Command, DSP Henry Okoye, disclosed this. The Labour Party has launched a disciplinary investigation into former National Chairman Julius Abure as part of sweeping reforms following a Supreme Court ruling that upheld his removal from office. A newly constituted disciplinary committee chaired by Senator Ireti Kingigbe has been tasked with investigating serious allegations against Abure, including corruption, forgery, perjury, and criminal conspiracy. Samuel Odi completes the story.
The disciplinary committee is expected to submit its findings and recommendations to party's National Executive Council within 21 days. At the press briefing in Abuja, Chairman National Caretaker Committee of the party, Senator Nana Dia Usman, said Abure has been given 48 hours to respond to the charges before further action is taken. She described his continued claim to the chairmanship as impersonation and announced that all decisions made by him during the dispute period has been nullified.
So, pursuant to the powers vested in the National Executive Council under Article 19 of the Labour Party Constitution 1999 as amended, and in response to grave allegations bordering on corruption, financial misappropriation, and anti-party activities leveled against the erstwhile national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, the leadership of the party hereby constitutes a disciplinary committee to thoroughly investigate the said matters and recommend appropriate disciplinary measures. The composition. Number 1, Senator Ireti Kingigbe, the chairman. 2, High Chief Peter Ame, secretary, member.
The caretaker committee also passed a vote of confidence in Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti, praising their continued support for party unity. Members were urged to rally behind the new leadership and prepare for a nationwide membership revalidation exercise. Usman called for unity and internal democracy, saying the Labour Party is moving forward with renewed focus and commitment to a better Nigeria. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
Wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commissioned a 100-bed mother and child center in Awo Omama Oru East Local Government Area of Imo State. Represented by the wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shatima, the First Lady's visit is part of the federal government's drive to improve maternal and child health care under the Sustainable Development Goals program. Amarachi Ibe reports.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, continues to champion the welfare of women and children across the country. In Imo State, her name now graces a new 100-bed mother and child center, built in Awam Mama under the SDG initiative. Representing the First Lady at the commissioning was Hajia Nana Shatima, wife of the Vice President, who emphasized the center's importance in addressing maternal and child health challenges in rural communities.
We must continue to emphasize the vital importance of maternal health care in building a healthier society. I therefore urge our women and members of this community to take this advantage of the services available at this mother and child center. I also charge you to take ownership of this center. It is for your benefits and the welfare of your children.
Speaking at the event, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says the naming of the center after the First Lady is a tribute to her tireless service to women and vulnerable groups nationwide. He added that the facility aligns with ongoing state-led health reforms, including the renovation of 305 primary health centers in collaboration with the World Bank, deployment of mobile clinic, and revitalization of general hospitals and teaching institutions across Imo State.
Our administration is deeply committed to reducing maternal and child mortality linked to inadequate facilities and healthcare access. This new hospital directly supports that mission and expands the reach of modern healthcare in our state. Having personally visited the site ahead of this event, I can attest that this hospital was delivered to specification, equipped with modern medical technology, and ready to serve.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Princess Adejoke Olarope, explained that the project is one of the several initiatives being implemented across Nigeria under the Sustainable Development Goal 3, which focuses on good health and well-being.
And promises made by your reliable, responsible, and responsive President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, who believes that no woman should die or no child should die when giving birth. Women is vessel of life and should be protected and preserved.
With the commissioning of the Senator Oluremi Tinubu Mother and Child Center, Our Mama becomes a critical part of Imo's growing health infrastructure dedicated to safe motherhood and child survival. From Our Mama in Oru East Local Government Area, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The House of Representatives has directed the Committee on Healthcare Services to work with the Federal Ministry of Health and other relevant agencies to create a framework for subsidizing cancer treatment and drugs in Nigeria. They also called for more treatment centers, additional radiation therapy machines, and free nationwide cancer screening programs. Uyi Agbomofuegwe completes the story. We'll bring you that report subsequently. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has warned against the covert establishment of a one-party system in Nigeria, cautioning that such a move could destabilize the nation's fragile democracy. Speaking at a memorial lecture held in honor of the late elder statesman, Chief Edwin Clark in Abuja, Jonathan emphasized the dangers of political manipulation aimed at sidelining opposition parties. The former president noted that while countries like Tanzania practice a one-party system, it was properly planned for, stressing that Nigeria's complex ethnic, religious, and political landscape necessitates a more inclusive political framework. The Benue State government has condemned the act of what it describes as a calculated campaign of sponsored protest and misinformation, allegedly aimed at destabilizing the state and discrediting the administration of Governor Hyacinth Alia. Addressing the media, the chief press secretary to the governor, Teso Kula, says the recent protest held in Abuja, supposedly in the interest of Benue citizens, were orchestrated by disgruntled political actors with the aim of manipulating public opinion and triggering a state of emergency. Correspondent Felicity Ndere has details.
Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Benue State, Sir Teson Kula, accused the organizers of attempting to weaponize the legal profession, alleging that ex-convicts were paraded as lawyers and while unregistered groups submitted false and offensive petition to the National Assembly. He described the action as a direct assault on the integrity of the legal system and called on the Nigerian Bar Association to act swiftly against impersonators and unethical practices.
These demonstrations are not organic expressions of public sentiments, but rather calculated attempts by disgruntled elements to settle personal scores and advance a malicious agenda. These individuals, driven by a desperate desire to paint Benue in the worst possible light, appear to believe that by doing so, they can somehow force the hand of President Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Benue State. This misguided notion stems from a deep-seated aversion to positive change and a yearning for a return to a discredited status quo. Their ultimate goal, it seems, is to create an environment of chaos and instability, allowing them to exploit the situation for their own selfish gains as usual. They are driven by desperate desire to remove Governor Hyacinth Alia from office, but they will not succeed. The people of Benue State are united in their support for their governor.
Reaffirming the government's commitment to peace, development, and good governance, Kula stressed that no amount of propaganda will deviate the administration's vision for a better Benue.
You're watching the live broadcast of the News Express. When News Express returns, Senate approves 2 out of 4 bills. Details coming shortly after the break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is News Express on Global Television. In business now, the Nigerian Senate has approved 2 out of 4 key tax reform bills, marking a major step in the ongoing overhaul of Nigeria's tax administration system. The bills passed include one to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act and another to establish both the Joint Revenue Board and the Nigeria Revenue Service. Ramsey Enoch Agbo has details.
The tax reform bills were adopted after detailed review and a third reading on the Senate floor. Presenting the committee report, Senator Sani Musa, chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, emphasized that the tax reform legislation is vital for President Bola Tinubu's vision of growing Nigeria's economy to $1 trillion by 2030. He stressed the importance of creating laws that are practical, beneficial, and enduring beyond the current administration, reflecting the true needs of Nigerians.
Recommendation on the tax administration bill, which is one of the areas that have generated a lot of controversies. We have addressed that, and what we did with that recommendation is that the federal government will be taking 10% from the VAT distribution. We did not amend the present VAT structure. We left it at 7.5% instead of increasing it as was recommended. So in that structure, we said 10% of that collection will be for the federal government, 55% of that collection will go to the state government and the Federal Capital Territory, and 35% to the local governments.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, expressed confidence that the reforms will improve governance and transform the way taxes are collected and distributed nationwide.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act number 13, 2007, and then enact the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act to establish the Nigeria Revenue Service, charged with the powers of assessment, collection of, and accounting for revenue accruing to the government of the Federation and for related matters 2025, third reading taken and passed.
Akpabio assured that the remaining 2 bills would be concluded the next day, even if it requires extended sitting hours. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has advised the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission against the plan to build 4 nuclear power plants to generate 1,200 megawatts of electricity each. The minister gave the advice during a meeting with the commission, according to a statement by his media aide, Bolaji Tunji. The statement noted that Adelabu received the acting chairman of the commission, Anthony Ekedewa, in his office in Abuja, where he made the remarks. On the foreign scene, India says 16 people, including 3 women and 5 children, have died due to Pakistani firing since Wednesday morning. The earlier death toll was 15. India says that Pakistan has increased the intensity of unprovoked firing across the line of control. It says also that Islamabad was using mortars and heavy caliber artillery in areas like Kupwara, Baramulla, Uri Punch, Medha, and Rauji sectors in Jammu and Kashmir, and that the Indian Army had responded to halt this mortar and artillery fire. Ukraine says Russia was attacking across the front line, calling Russian President Vladimir Putin's order for a 3-day truce supposed to take effect on May 8 a farce. The Russian army says it was responding to Ukrainian attacks but observing the truce, which Putin unilaterally ordered to coincide with a massive parade in Moscow to mark World War II Victory Day. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiga says, predictably, Putin's parade ceasefire proves to be a sham. And in sports, Osigwe Goodness scored the only goal from the penalty spot as Edo Queens beat Unification FC of Lagos 1-0 at the Digbo Dino Stadium, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, to advance to the semi-finals of the Federation Cup. Edo Queens were a dominant side, but the youthful Lagos team defended deep in their own half to foil the attack of the Benin team. However, the breakthrough came in the 85th minute for the Benin team. Osigwe hit a shot which hit the hand of a Unification defender, and the referee wasted no time in pointing to the penalty spot, which Osigwe scored without hassles. As the News Express comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has warned against the covert establishment of a one-party system in Nigeria, cautioning that such a move could destabilize the nation's fragile democracy. In business, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has advised the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission against the plan to build 4 nuclear power plants to generate 1,200 megawatts of electricity each. On the foreign scene, Ukraine says Russia was attacking across the front line, calling Russian President Vladimir Putin's order for a 3-day truce supposed to take effect on May 8 a farce. And in sports, we told you Osigwe Goodness scored the only goal from the penalty spot as Edo Queens beat Unification FC of Lagos 1-0 at the Digbo Dino Stadium, Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. And that's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on NigeComSat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms, Global TV NG, and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching, and see you again.